What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 3 of my favorite plants. We're going to kick this off, Philodendron edition. But before that, I want to show y'all something I've been doing. Check this out. All right, let me show y'all how I'm out here making a mess. I got some perfect plaster from Amazon. And I also got like some different pigment powders. I guess it goes in cement. And let me show y'all what I'm making. So I'm casting a couple different types of plant pots. And I've already made about 3 of them. So these are 2 more that are drying right now. And I'll show you kind of how the finished product looks. Okay, so here they are. These are the first 3 that I made. And they are about 7 inches in diameter, so they can fit a 6-inch pot. So I've been learning a lot making these 3. One of the things is I spray these with like a matte clear finish so that I can seal it, and I don't want any of the high alkaline elements of this pot to soak into the soil. So I soak these in water and then spray it with the seal. But one of the things that I did was, after I sprayed it with the clear seal, I would touch it prematurely, and that's why you see a little bit of fingerprints. So I learned not to do that. Another thing, I learned how to kind of clean up the bottom. As you can see, this first one that I made is a little bit flawed, and I got that together. And another thing is, when I'm mixing the plaster mix, it is a lot darker than when it dries. When it dries, it will dry a lot lighter. So I learned that when making these. So that's what I've been up to this week. Y'all let me know how y'all like these pots that I've been making. They also have drainage holes, so you can plant it directly in there, or you can sit the pot directly in there. Let me know how you like it. So first up, when it comes to philodendrons going head to head, I'm gonna compare the 2 of them and then tell you which one is my favorite between the 2 that I compared. So first up, we have the Florida Ghost going up against the Ring of Fire. Ooh. So we have a Florida Ghost and a Ring of Fire. I am comparing both of these plants because both of them emerge with the new leaf has some type of a variegation, and then it eventually fades down to a different variation of green. So let's start with the Ring of Fire. This is a very fun plant because you never know what color the new leaf is going to come out to be. So the new leaf will come out either red, orange, yellow, even pink, and then it'll fade down eventually to like different variations of green. So this new leaf right here, this emerged like a peach color actually. And then now that peach color has faded down to this cream color, and then eventually this will be lime green as the chlorophyll goes inside of the leaf. But this philodendron is mad cool because it's gonna eventually have like a large serrated leaf, and it's gonna grow in like a rosette pattern, which is why they call it the Ring of Fire. It's definitely a come up. The variegation is really cool on these. And look at the variegation in the stem. Yep. So moving on to the Florida Ghost. As you can see, this Florida Ghost is quite big, bigger than the Ring of Fire. But we're not going to take the maturity and the size into account. So with the Florida Ghost, as you know, the new leaf comes out like a creamy white color, depending on how much light it's getting. And then it'll eventually fade down to a mint color, and then solid green once the leaf is old. And check this out. This Florida Ghost is going crazy. Let me show you. Like, look at what this plant is sitting up here doing. Like, I gave it this moss pole, and it just connected to the moss pole very quickly. And it just tore through the lining of this damn pole. And then like this little root that's right here came through the moss pole and made like an appearance on the back. And I'm pretty sure there's all kind of roots on the inside of this burlap pole. But hey, this plant is bomb. Like, just look at it. It's a very happy plant. It grows really quick compared to the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire, it can have a little moment where it's growing quick, but overall it'll take its time to rest, and that's exactly what it's doing now. So it hasn't really put out a new leaf in a while. This one, this new leaf is not even hardened off yet, and it's already working on this new shoot. And the leaves kind of unravel within a little over a week, I would say. So you're getting a consistent growth with the Florida Ghost. And you would think that, you know, the new leaf coming out with different color is my favorite thing about this plant, but actually it's the stem. I like how the stem has like a red textured petiole, and then it has like a little ombre effect where it goes down into like a bronze color and then eventually to a green. So the stems in combination with these leaves and then like the crazy shape of it, I definitely love it. So let me see, if both of these were online listed and I had to choose which one to buy, I would probably buy a Ring of Fire. It's a little bit more interesting, but overall, if I'm gonna pick out of these two, I'm gonna go for the Florida Ghost. It's a very happy plant. I love watching it grow. I don't have a lot of huge specimens in my collection, and this one just seems like it's on its way because it don't stop. So I highly recommend the Florida Ghost. I feel like they're affordable and it's a nice looking plant. So the Ghost is going to take it on this one. Okay. So next up we have the Philodendron Brazil going up against the Philodendron Silver Splash. Let's see how this goes. All right, so we have the Philodendron Silver Sword in comparison with the Philodendron Brazil. You can obviously tell the similarities in between these two plants. They almost look the same, but let's move over to the Brazil. I'm a big fan of the Brazil. Y'all know this is the more common plant right here. This is the common Philodendron. You can find these anywhere. You probably could find these at Target or a grocery store, but I'm still a big fan of it. So looking at the leaf, you get like a heart-shaped leaf with dark green, and then you get like a yellow down the center of it. That's the main characteristics of this plant. But then every once in a while, you'll get different types of variegation going on with the green and the yellow. As you can see, you got like a little lime, I ain't gonna say lime, what is this? Like a lighter green patch in here. And this is like one of those cool trailing philodendrons. Look at that. It's undeniable, and that's the reason why this plant is popular, because look at the variegation on that. I feel like green and yellow as variegation definitely looks more natural compared to green and white and other colors. But the main thing that I like about the Philodendron Brazil is that give it some light. If you give it some really bright light, these stems will come out orange or red. So a lot of times you can get like a long trailing philodendron and it'll have like a red stem with this green and yellow leaf, heart-shaped leaf on it. And I think that's the cool thing that people often look over, or maybe they look over. These stems are crazy. You get like, look, yellow with the green, and then you get some red in there too. I love the stem, and when the stem gets thick, you can really see the color on them. So I'm a big fan of the Brazil. I mean, just look at that. Let's move over to the silver stripe. Obviously, this one is smaller. So this is just about the same, but the difference is you get the dark green with like a lime green down the middle and some cream, and you also get like some silver in there, silver or gray in the variegation. I don't think none of these is even showing it. It's looking more like a cream splash. Okay, yeah, there you go. You see that silver stripe right down there. So that's why they call it silver stripe. So I think this one is almost as cool as the Brazil, but I don't know, something about the green and yellow looks a little bit more vibrant than this cream stripe and the silver stripe that's in this plant. But maybe this may be a little bit more classier if you give it like a white pot, and I can see what can be done with this, but let's see if the stem has any variegation. The stem has like, you know, little dark green stripes going down the middle of it. I don't know if it gets that red or orange color like the Brazil, but this is definitely a little bit more uncommon than the Brazil, and it looks nice. I'm rocking with it. I'm growing it out. I'm trying to get like a big, long, trailing specimen of it. But in comparison with these two, I ain't even gonna play with y'all. I'm definitely going for the Philodendron Brazil. I'm a big fan of the Brazil. I don't care how common it is. This is a dope looking plant right here. Very undeniable. All right, next we got coming up Philodendron Jerry Horn versus the Philodendron 69686, aka the Snitch 9. Let's see how this goes. Philodendron Jerry Horn here, and the Philodendron 69686. I'm comparing these two because they have these unusually shaped leaves and they have that same climbing growth pattern, and I feel like they grow at the same rate. They're both fast growers once you get like a good root system on them. But let's start with the Jerry Horn because it's just taking up the frame. So this is a mature Jerry Horn. Look at the shape. I don't know what kind of shape this is. I don't even know what to compare it to. It's crazy, but look what it's doing on this wooden plank. It's wrapping around I think it's going on over to the other side of the plank too. But yeah, this is a true climber. The aerial roots do what they do. They do a good job, and it's easy to grow. It's easy to grow, like medium light to bright light. It does just fine. It puts out these long, yeah, it's like the size of my forearm. It's a big plant. And I love having this in my collection because this is one of the biggest plants that I have, if not the biggest one. And I felt like I've just had so much success growing it. I feel like this may be my first philodendron that will flower, possibly, if I can get it to go up the rest of this plank right here. But I'm loving the Philodendron Jerry Horn. You're getting these large, nice shaped leaves. And it's easy to grow. You definitely want to get you one of these if you're a foliage type person. Let's move over to the Philodendron 69686. This is a cutting. I had a big one. Obviously, I chopped it up so I can make my money back from the money that I spent on it. But I like the shape of this. When it gets skinny right here, and then it just comes out, it gives you those UPI vibes. If you know about the Philodendron UPI. But see, the thing that this plant has over the Jerry Horn is the stem gets an ombre effect also. The stem does get red, and then it kind of fades down into this green. See, does it have it going on here? Yeah, the more light you give it, the more the stem turns colors, and it'll start to, once it gets mature, the shape, it'll get real skinny in the center right here, and then flare out into this shape. But if I had to choose between the two of these, I'm gonna go ahead and go for the Philodendron 69686. Because once this 6.9 gets to the size of this Jerry horn, which it will, once I give it a pole, oh yeah, it's gonna be very impressive. So that is my pick between these two. Okay, so for this one right here, let's bring in some variegation, a little bit more variegation. So we have the Philodendron White Princess going up against the Philodendron White Knight. Okay, so we have the Philodendron White Knight going up against the Philodendron White Princess. So I'm comparing these two because I think that they come from the same mother plant when they created these. I know it's some type of Philodendron erubescens, the same as the Pink Princess. All of these stem from that erubescens plant, which is also the same as the Philodendron Red Emerald. But let's start with the Philodendron White Princess. So y'all remember I bought this from Houseplant Nation. I did like a little video where I toured 2 of their stores. And this was one of the purchases that I made when I visited there. And I knew this White Princess had some good genetics on it. It was a 1-leaf cutting, and this is what it's grown into since then. So I would say that the variegation on this plant is a lot more consistent than a Pink Princess. You're gonna get white flecks and white sectoral variegation pretty consistently. And if you take a look at the stem, it reminds me of a candy cane. You got green, white, and red. Each new leaf has like this little red rim on there, and then you see the white variegation beneath that. So I definitely like the variegation on this. And it grows pretty easily, I would say. It hasn't given me any problems just yet. And I feel like looking at the size of that stem, it's sizing up pretty well. This is a White Princess. Moving over to the White Knight. I have a lot of these. And I do like this plant. I'm not even mad that it doesn't have a lot of variegation. So what I'm starting to notice when it comes to Philodendron White Knights, they don't give you a lot of white on the leaves. I haven't seen many specimens that have a lot of white variegation on it. But check out the stem. The stem does have that little candy cane effect also with the red and white swirling through it. I think that that's cool. But there's something kind of classy about this plant not putting off a lot of white. And the difference between this one compared to that one, you're getting more of a solid burgundy color stem. And I feel like that's pretty cool too. So if I had to pick between these two, I'm gonna go ahead and go for the White Princess. White Princess is better. If y'all are out there in the market for either one of these plants and you were trying to decide between these two, buy the White Princess. White Princesses are worth it. You get a lot. The thing is, it's a possibility that the White Princess, sometime during its life, it'll put out pink and white on the leaves. And it grows easily. I I would say that this one grows quicker than the White Knight. The White Knight does put out some burgundy. I had like a big burgundy streak here. It kind of faded down to green. So it puts out tricolors too, but White Princess puts out tricolors and it'll be like a big sectoral pink on the leaves. So I feel like it's a little bit more fun. You can get a big surprise with one of these. Definitely buy the, I recommend that you buy the White Princess over a White Knight. All right, so this is supposed to be the Philodendron edition, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw y'all a wild card because I have the Philodendron Jose Buono going up against the Monstera Thai Constellation. It's only right. It's like the battle of the freckles and shit. So see what happens. Okay, y'all, listen. These are like two of my favorite plants. I really do like the Philodendron Jose Buono. And I love my Monstera Thai Constellation. I'm comparing to both of these because they both have stable variegation. They both have like that flecking variegation. You know, you get the little flecks of variegation on here, flecks of variegation on there. So it was only right that I compare these two because I really didn't know what to compare this to. So let's start with the Jose Buono. The Jose Buono does have another plant that's very similar to it, and I think it's called the Philodendron Embe or something like that. And that one is a lot more expensive because I think when the variegation comes out white on the Embe, it stays there. So the thing about the Jose Buono, it'll come out with a cream color variegation, just like this leaf, and then it'll fade down to this lighter green. But the variegation on this is dope. It does fade down to that green. Like all of these little portions used to be like a creamy white color. This whole leaf used to be a creamy white leaf, and this is what it faded down to. But that keeps it fun. And you know, this plant is just so easy to grow. If you need a self-esteem booster when it comes to your green thumb, definitely get a Jose Buono. I feel like they are worth the money. They grow huge, they grow easy. Once you get like good roots on them, and it's very resilient. You should have seen when I first bought this plant. It was like a sliced up one leaf cutting, and everything was all bad with it, and this is where we're at with it now. So it had a strong will to live, and that's what it's doing. It's just living and thriving. I'm so happy with this plant. I just love how it bounced back. I love the variegation pattern on it. You get a lot of sectoral, plus you get the flex. And the thing is, everything that this plant does, it's stable. It's not like, oh, if you move it, it's gonna, you know, change variegation pattern. No, it's gonna stay that way. This is this has stable variegation on it, unlike a lot of other plants. So it's not gonna just revert to all green on you, but definitely give it some good bright light if you want to get a lot of these cream color leaves. So let's move on to the Monstera Thai Constellation. This one is not so fun to grow. It takes a while to get a leaf. I finally got my first fenestrated leaf. So y'all can go ahead and take a minute to clap for me. I would like a round of applause that I got my first fenestrated leaf off of this plant, because it took about, what, 2 years? I've been struggling. This plant tried to die on me about 2 or 3 times. So I see why Costa Farms is having a little issues rolling these out to the big box stores. But I'm happy mine's is doing good, and I kind of got it down packed. I definitely let this one dry out. It's in regular Aroid potting mix, and I just got some sphagnum moss around the stem just in case it wants to grow some adventitious roots. And I let it dry out. That's the main thing, because it's so easy to rot the roots on this one. But this also gets some sectoral variegation, and the variegation stays with this cream color. It doesn't fade down to a green, it just stays. And this is my favorite monstera. They keep coming out with these new monsteras, albos and pandas and all these other kind of different, but this is my favorite. This is my favorite out of all the monsteras. But do I want to have fun with the Jose, or do I want to stick around and wait when it comes to the Thai constellation? Oh, another thing about the Thai constellation is the stem gets like a crazy marbling swirl on it. I've seen big ones. But I need to go ahead and pick between these two, and it's really hard because I love both of these. But if I had to take my pick, I'm gonna go for the Monstera Thai constellation. So even though this is harder to grow, you can easily rot this plant. It's still one of the plants that I don't mind, you know, paying close attention to, and just, you know, it's very impressive if I can actually grow this one out. So it's more of a project for me, and just, I don't know, I feel like I accomplish something every time a new leaf comes out. So it gives me a whole different vibe compared to the Jose Buono, because, you know, this one's just gonna be throwing out leaves. It's almost as if like every leaf comes out crazy with variegation to the point to where I'm not surprised anymore, you know? So that's the reason why I chose the Monstera Thai constellation. I just can't wait till we get the, you know, quintessential Monstera looking leaves. All right, so that's all I got for you. Hopefully y'all like my little pots that I've been making. I think I'm gonna go ahead and sell these locally once I get them to like a more of a professional quality. So that's that. Hopefully y'all having a blessed week. And oh, by the way, did y'all catch the second half of this current season of Ozark? Oh, it was crazy. And leave a comment and let me know if you suggest anything else that's on Netflix that I can watch. You know, I like to watch my little Netflix. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up these episodes of My Favorite Plants, because I want to move on to some more content and just come up with some new ideas in ways that I can collaborate with other YouTubers. I think that it was fun. Thank you to Roots Ready. Thank you to Lauren from Plants and Things. And I've been having fun. So I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.